Welcome back to Just Grab Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 66. We got a good lineup for you ahead of UFC 271. First up, we're going to be joined by one half of the main event in Robert Whittaker to preview his middleweight title fight rematch against Israel Adesanya. Good chat with Rob, who's already in Houston, getting acclimatized to the weather or to the time, but Rob really thinks this is a totally different fight. He doesn't take a whole lot away from that first fight. He knows he's gotten a lot better. He says that's shown, and he believes he has a lot of tools that can exploit Adesanya. He thinks there's a clear path to victory. He thinks he can get it done. Obviously, he's expecting a really tough fight and a really fun fight, he thinks, and he's ready to reclaim that middleweight strap. We're then going to be joined by Hanada Mykano to preview his fight against Alex Hernandez. This is a really intriguing matchup. Hanada Mykano kind of mixed results, has moved up to lightweight, got knocked out by Rafael Fiziev, and then just dominated Jay Herbert last time out. Now gets a kind of a known name in Alexander Hernandez, who's kind of been hit and miss at lightweight as well. Obviously came on the scenes, knocked out Beneil Dariush, then beat OAM. Obviously lost to Cerrone, and since then he's gone just 3-2. Both guys, it's kind of a crossroads fight. Both guys are looking to get up into that top 15 or so, working their way up. This is a really important fight. Hanado believes he has the grappling skills to really just control this fight on the ground and secure the win. We're then going to be joined by Roxanne Modafferi to preview her fight against Casey O'Neill. Roxanne, this is her retirement fight. So we kind of spoke about how she kind of came up with that, what she's going to do after fighting, but she's really looking forward to this fight. She really wants to do a lot of stuff she hasn't done in fights. She says you're going to want to watch this. There's going to be spinning stuff. There's going to be different kind of attacks, just so say she can attempted those in a fight before, but she's living it all out there. She knows this is it. She knows she's kind of getting thrown to the wolves with Casey O'Neill, but she believes she has all the tools to pull off the upset and end her retirement on a win. We're then going to be joined by Kyler Phillips to preview his main card fight against Marcelo Rojo. This as fight of the night written all over it. Kyler Phillips coming off that controversial loss last time out against Holly and Paiva. Before that, beat Song Yadong, beat Cameron Ells, and beat Gabriel Silva to kick off his UFC tenure. But Kyler's main trading partner of Sean O'Malley gets a lot of good looks. He thinks he's going to be way too much for Rojo and eventually find that knockout shot and puts him away. And we close things out talking to Jared Vanderaa to preview his fight against Andrei Arlovsky. This is a fight Jared did not expect to get. Jared says he was supposed to fight Chris Barnett on the first card of the year. Barnett ended up pulling out. Arlovsky agreed to take the fight, and then Bandera and the UFC, or not Bandera, the UFC just agreed to push this back to in front of fans at UFC 271. But Bandera is ecstatic to be able to fight a former champion. He believes he can go out there, beat, and possibly finish Arlovsky. That really sets him up well for the end to make a run at the heavyweight division. But be sure to share the show, subscribe. Thank you all for listening, and tune in next week for another episode. All right, we're joined by the former UFC middleweight champion who's fighting for his belt again. Robert, how's it going, man?
Good, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for doing this again. Obviously, fighting for the belt. Like, are you surprised it took you this long to get the title shot? Because there was a case where you could have gotten an immediate rematch, because you look at other champions and they get that right away.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I haven't really thought about it too much because I was enjoying the process. I was enjoying the fights, and coming back off the loss and then coming back after I took some time to put some things together. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the ride, and I knew all roads led to here anyway. So here we are.
After you lost to Adesanya, like, did you think he'd be holding the belt still by the time you got up there again?
Yeah, I did, because I can gauge the skill level of my opponents, and I can gauge the skill level of Izzy. And watching him through his fights, he's a great fighter. He's gonna give a lot of problems to a lot of guys. But I think I have the secret.
And your first fight, you kind of talked about how he got in your head a little bit. Like, how do you kind of not let that happen again?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a completely different man than I was then. I've come a long way since then. And, in that I'm very self-confident now in who I am and why I do things, and as well as I'm aware. So, having those things in hand, I think I'm going to be quite immune to his tricks.
And like, how much pressure was on you that first fight? Just because it was the massive card in Australia, like, you kind of had to put on a show there, where now, like, he's the champion. He's kind of the one with all the pressure now.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of pressure from our a lot of external sources, and everything going into it, as well as a lot of self-inflicted pressure. But that's the beauty of this fight now, isn't it? It's nobody expects me to win. He's the champ. He's been doing so well. So I'm going to go out there and just look to execute what I want to do, and put all the hard work to good use, and then go home and see my family.
Is that something you enjoy? Like, I remember the first time you guys fought, like people were kind of split on who they thought was going to win. Now it seems like everyone's kind of counting you out, and like no one really thinks you have a shot.
It makes sense. He beat me quite handily the first time. But yeah, most of my career I've been the underdog, and I've proved a lot of people wrong.
What have you made of his 4 fights since you guys fought him? Obviously, the one loss to Jan in there, but at middleweight, he's kind of looked unbeatable.
He's looked phenomenal. But I think the difference is, what I would say is that he looks beatable. He does look beatable. I think he's certainly had some good fights, some good performances, but I think I can beat him. I think I have the skill set to beat him, and we'll wait and see.
Do you look at the Jan fight really, or do you kind of throw that one out the window just because that was up at 205?
I look at the goods and bads, like the holes and what worked and what did not work in that fight for him. And I'm definitely taking some things from it. But like you said, it's at 205. That's a very different dynamic, a very different fight. As well as Jan as a 205 fighter, he's a much different guy than I am. He's structurally, he's very different than I am. A 185er. So got to take the pros and the positives out of it, and just use it.
Do you wish this fight was happening back in like Australia, New Zealand, or do you like how it's away from that and away from home and not having to deal with all that kind of extra stuff?
A bit of both. Like the extra pressure and stuff is part of the job. Not having to deal with it is always positive sometimes. But I enjoy traveling though. I enjoy the travel that my career has been able to bring me and allow me to do. Like I've loved being able to come here to the US again. It's fun. That's half the appeal of the job, is that I got to travel the world for it. So yeah.
Have you seen much of Adesanya's comments about this fight? Like, it seems like he is like very confident it's going to go similar. Like he kind of said like it's just another easy paycheck for him and it's going to be similar to the first fight. Like, do you take anything away from that?
Yeah, he's a cocky fighter. That's what he says in all his fights.
Your wrestling too is an underrated part of your game. Like, is that something that you think you're going to mix in this fight? Because we didn't really see a whole lot of it in the first one.
Yeah, I would hope so. Well, I wasn't using it before the first fight. I never needed to. And then from that fight, I've wanted to just display a better complete skill set. Get close to that perfect MMA craft. And if opportunities present itself, I'll do what I want. But we'll have to wait and see how the tail of the fight goes.
How often do you watch that first fight?
Not often at all.
Do you like take anything away from it? Because I actually thought you were winning that first round until he clipped you right at the end.
Yeah, there are some good things to take from it, some bad things as well. It is what it is. We'll have to wait and see.
Adesanya's striking is obviously everyone kind of knows him for, and especially his reach too. But you have a pretty good height and reach too, and especially your strength. Like, you think that's a big part of it? Is even if you can't get him down, just kind of like clinch him up and not let him use his reach.
We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the trick to getting inside reach, to deal with a fighter that's taller and longer reach than you, is to get inside that reach. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a surprise.
How do you kind of see it playing out? Just because Izzy is very durable. Like, he's only ever been knocked out that one time in kickboxing, and even Jan couldn't put him away.
Yeah, no, he's a tough fighter. How I see the fight is it's too hard to say. Like, with high skilled opponents like us, and going back and forth, trying to counter each other's game plans and execute our own. You don't know what the dynamic of the fight is going to be like. You can't tell how each fighter is going to adapt. So we're just going to have to. I'm just going to have to play it by ear and just see what he's doing.
You get your hand raised. Like, what's that moment like, getting the belt wrapped back around your waist?
Haven't thought about it, mate. Any win's a good win. So, yeah, I'll just have to wait and see then.
Is this a fight too? Like, you think you win, you're probably gonna have to run it right back again and have to beat him twice to really start a new reign?
Mate, honestly, I haven't thought about it. It's my calendar only goes up until the start of the fight, and whatever happens after happens after.
The one good part of the fight, though, is it's in Houston with fans. Like, it's been a while since that Adesanya fight was your last like full crowd. So what's that gonna be like with the walkout back in front of fans?
Yeah, no, it's good to be able to give the fans what they want. You know, I like to think we're modern day gladiators, so to be able to give the fans that live experience and to put on a show for them, it's gonna be really good. And gonna give me a lot of energy.
You went out to Houston a bit earlier than normal. Like, is that part of just getting used to the time changes because it's like a totally different clock from where you're from?
This isn't any normal anything other than normal. This is what I do every prep for a fight. I usually come this amount of time out beforehand just to acclimatize and get my body clock all sorted out.
When did you arrive in Houston?
A couple days ago.
Uh, like, who kind of came along with you? Like, just your coach, or did you bring some training partners as well with you?
No, just my coaches and my teammate because he's fighting as well. So coaches, a teammate of mine, and just my usual team and my
Yeah,
old man.
yeah, well, what's it like having your teammate there? Because this is what, his second or third time being on your undercard. I was trying to remember.
Third, yeah,
Yeah,
it's his third time. It's great, to be able to go through a camp with a fellow teammate. It just you kind of share the load. So if you're suffering, he's suffering. It that little bit easier.
and how much does that help fight week too? That you have like a guy that you can actually work with and train with in Houston as well.
Yeah, no, it's good. Normally I can work with my coaches and stuff, but we're doing our things. It's just another fight.
Did you bring anyone in for training camp, or was it just the usual guys you work with? Just because Adesanya's kickboxing, like whenever I talk to people that fight him, they like to bring some guys in.
I know I brought in some guys, but nothing out of the ordinary because we're always looking for sparring for whether it be boxing or kickboxing, and we're always working those angles. So yeah, we brought in the usual amount of guys. We brought in some other guys. No one specifically for Adesanya.
You spoke about it too. You kind of felt like burnt out. So, like, how much better do you feel now compared to like back when you're fighting Romero and Adesanya?
Mate, it's night and day. So the way I feel now, like I said, I'm a totally different person than I was for that first fight. And you can see through the fights I've had since, it's just my performance has been better because I've been enjoying the journey and the ride a lot more. And I'm just a much happier fighter.
Oh, what's that like too? Just obviously training is probably a lot easier and not like easy, but a lot happier. Because before, I remember you saying like you were kind of forced yourself to go out there on Christmas morning to go train.
Yeah, no, it's changed. It's changed. There are hard days. Everyone has hard days where they don't leave their bed. But no, I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying getting better, and because I'm enjoying the process and enjoying the ride that much more, it's just making me want to grow. It's making me want to be at the session, which is helping me grow. And you see that in fight weeks and everything else. I'm just like I'm enjoying the experience a lot more and being a part of it.
Are you excited for this one? Just because, like, as you mentioned, and kind of what we've seen is you are a different fighter. So, like, you kind of right the wrongs of that first fight.
Yeah, I just want to get in there and do my work. This is what I do for a living. And I feel like in that first fight, I didn't give a good account of myself and didn't show how good I am. So I want to go out there and I want to put on a better performance, and I just want to use my entire skill set.
Just last thing for you, like, what is kind of the goal for you this year? Like, obviously, it's beating Adesanya, but are you hoping to be a bit more active just because you had the one fight last year and obviously two in 2020? Like, is that kind of what you see as just 1 or 2 fights, or is that something you like to be more active?
I'd like to be as active as I can. It wasn't under my control.
Yeah.
I would have fought more last year, but I was lined for that title fight, and the title fight kept getting pushed back because of the pandemic and everything. So I would like to be more active. My whole mentality with fighting and my timelines has been, if I'm healthy and I'm ready to fight, I fight.
Actually, just one more quick one is on the card is Brunson Cannonier. Like, you fought Cannonier. Like, I know you're gonna be warming up the back, but are you gonna keep a close eye on that fight when you're warming up?
I watch it in the back because I watch most of the fights in the back, but nothing. I'm not gonna keep a closer eye than usual or anything like that.
Who do you think wins that one?
Ooh, I would have to lean towards Cannonier. I think he's been in fine form lately. You know.
Yeah, and he has a ton of power, which was pretty impressive that you kind of just walked right through that too.
Yeah, and he's a hard guy to take down. You know, he's hard to hold down, and I think that's how Brunson wins, by holding him down. And like I said, he's hard to hold down.
Well, Rob, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this again.
Pleasure's all mine, mate. Thanks for having me again.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Hanada Mykano, who's returning here in February. Hanado, how's it going, man?
Very good. How about you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Obviously, back in action, UFC 271. Like, was this a bit later than what you thought just after coming off that win in June? Like, I thought maybe you might have gotten one more in last year.
Yeah, I was trying to get a fight last year, but I couldn't. So they offered me that fight in, I don't know, I don't remember if it was November or December, but they offered me the fight and I took it, and that's it. We are a couple weeks for the fight, and I'm really happy.
And Alex Hernandez, how much do you know about him? Because he kind of burst onto that scene with that knockout over Dariush.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, good wrestler, good striker, and like he knocked out Dariush. Have a couple close fights with good guys in the division. Lost some, win some. It's a good name, well known. It's a good fight for me.
Have you talked to Thiago about this fight? Just because obviously your teammate in Thiago Moises fought him.
Yes, a little bit, but we cannot like. I talk with him about couple stuff that I am thinking and doing a fight, and I was asking him some tips. But every fight is different, you know. So I cannot like see this fight and think I'm gonna do the same, you know. So I talk with Thiago, but let's see what happens. We never know.
With this fight, like, how do you think you match up against him?
I think it's a good fight for both, you know. Like I say, everybody in UFC stuff, and for me, like the opponent really doesn't matter, you know. It's all about going over there, do my best, and get wins. It's all about that. I don't care about opponents.
Fighting back in front of fans too, like how exciting is that for you?
That's really nice, man. Like it's been a while since we have like a big fight. I fought in the first UFC without crowd in Brazil, and now I'm able to fight in Texas in front of a lot of people. So I'm really happy, and I can't wait, man. It's gonna be a good fight.
You're obviously fighting in his home state, though. Like, he's from Texas. Are you kind of expecting the crowd to boo you?
Of course, man, of course. But in the end of the day, the crowd doesn't matter. You know, I would to have to beat him, and that's it in front of his hometown. I don't care.
You guys are very similar in the fact that you're both very like well-rounded. So where do you kind of see, like, do you think this is going to be like a kickboxing fight, or do you think it's going to hit the ground at some point?
I don't know. Can be go both ways, you know. Seeing the Hernandez fights with Moises, they both are good grapplers, but they stand the whole 3 rounds striking, and sometimes I try to take guys to the ground. Sometimes I try to striking. I don't know. Depends on the day, you know. Sometimes I woke up and I say, man, today I'm gonna fight kickboxing, and all the time today I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu. So we never know.
You're a guy though, when you win, most of the time it is by stoppage. Like, and we have seen Alex get finished before. So is this a fight you think you can get that stoppage win then?
Yeah, I don't know, and doesn't matter too, you know. It's all about winning, so it doesn't matter if I finish him, if I go to the decision. I just have to be sharp, be ready, do what I do, and get the win. This is what all about.
What do you think a win over Hernandez does for you, just because he is sort of a big name in the division?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care. I don't really care. I'm going over there to get the double check. To support my family. I don't care about rankings anymore. I just care about money. This is sad, but this is true. I'm going over there to take the money, and I want to win to get more money, and that's it, brother. And after that, they can do whatever they want. If they can, I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna win this fight. And doesn't matter if after that they're gonna give me a ranked opponent or not. I just want to fight soon as possible. I have been asking for fight last year and the other year. I took so long to me to fight. I don't know why, but I want to be consistent and get the double bonus check, man. It's all about that.
When did that kind of switch for you? Because we've talked a lot before most of your fights, and it's always been you want those names, you want those ranked opponents. So
Yeah.
when did that kind of switch?
No, because in my mind, what changed was it doesn't matter if the guy is ranked or not, and they are not giving me ranked opponents, so that's okay, that's fine. Uh, it's not up to me to choose my fights, so I'm fighting for the money. In the end of the day, it's a sport, it's a business. I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting older day by day, and I have to collect. Because I know when I stop to fighting, when I retire, I'm not gonna have the same kind of money that I'm doing now. So I have to take advantage of this opportunity, and I have to win the fights. I have to collect the double checks, and I have to be smart with the money. It's all about that.
Are you trying to get that 50K bonus then? Because that's obviously a nice little extra money for you.
Yeah, that's a nice extra money. Who knows? Uh, we're gonna see. We're gonna feel the fight. We're gonna see what happens, and let's hope for the 50K. But this is not my mindset. My mindset is go over there and perform well. Do my best and win the fight. Everything is extra. If the people will like the fight, if they don't, I don't care. I don't really care. I just want to go over there, dominate the fight, striking, grappling, do the whole shit, do my stuff, and win the fight.
This is your fourth fight at lightweight since moving up. Like, how much more comfortable are you starting to feel now that you've had almost 2 years to kind of really get adjusted to the weight class?
Man, I'm feeling great in this division. I'm feeling good, really good, and I feel like it doesn't matter what division you are. It doesn't matter if I go to featherweight to lightweight. It's always the same. You have to train, you have to keep dieting, you have to fight. Is the same. Doesn't change that much. So if you're having trouble to get to the weight, you should move up. You should move up. You should, because in the end of the day, it's the same. It's the same. It's just like if you are cutting too much weight, it's just extra stress, extra training, and not feeling good. So I'm feeling really well on the lightweight.
What is kind of the goal for you this year? Is it basically get 3-4 fights in this year then?
Yeah, let's see, man. I want to go over there, win that fight and fight in Brazil. I think Brazil gonna be March, right? I don't remember the date, but I want to fight as soon as possible after that fight in Texas. Like I said before, I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting older, 32, so I have to take advantage of that position that I am. And because I'm training hard, man. Believe me, I'm training hard. I'm putting all the work, the strategy, all that stuff, man. I have been working all my life, since I was a kid. And now it's time to collect the money and performance and do my best, be the best fight that I can be. Now it's the time, and it's gonna be my time, and February 12th.
All the rumors are the UFC's going to Brazil in May for a pay-per-view. Are you hoping you can be on that then and fight back home in Brazil?
Yes, 100%. I want to fight back in Brazil. I want to go over there, see my family, see my friends, have a good time, make some money, all that stuff, man. I want to. If possible, I want to fight in Brazil.
What do you think this walkout's gonna be like? Just because 'cause it's been so long that there's been fans that when you walk out.
I don't know. When you are when you're gonna fight, you are so focused. I don't watch, I don't see, I don't hear anything. I am focused on the fight. I am focused on what I have to do on my work. So I don't care. It doesn't matter what they say, if it's loud or not. You are so focused on what you have to do. I don't think in anything else.
I assume I know the answer, but I just have to ask, are you done with featherweight for sure? Like, it's a lightweight from now on?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. We never know. I'm a little bit heavy, but like I said before, if the good opportunity shows up, we just see the other guy come back to featherweight, the Dan Hooker. We never know. I cannot say for sure. I'm not gonna be fighting in featherweight, but I'm heavy, man. To go to the featherweight is gonna be a hard time for me. So I feel comfortable and I feel uh, strong in lightweight. Let's see what the future bring to us. But right now I'm focused on February 12th.
Just a few more things, just on some former people you fought. Obviously, Korean Zombie's getting the title shot. What'd you make of that? Him finally getting that long-awaited title shot.
Man, that's nice. Korean Zombie is a great guy. He's I cheer for him. He's a good guy. Um, very good fighter, and I hope he get this title. I think it's gonna be hard. Volkanovski is a really hard guy to beat, but we never know. Zombie has what has the power, has the striking to do a good fight against him, and let's see what happens. I I am I wish he win. You know what I mean. My English is not that good, but
Yeah.
I
And your fellow Brazilian, Jose Aldo, like, that's a guy you fought. I know you've looked up to him. Like, what are you kind of making his run at bantamweight?
Man, he's doing really well. I saw his fight against Pedro Munhoz. He was really sharp, really like fast. I think this division is very good for him. I don't know. I don't see him beating Yan. Peter Yan is a monster in 35, but Jose Aldo, we have to respect him. And of course, a fight is a fight. He can challenge the belt and everything can happen. But I think the 35 is good for him, and I hope he keep doing his good work.
Well, Hanato, that's all I have for you. Thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, brother.
All right, we're joined by Roxanne Modafferi, who's having a retirement fight here. Roxanne, how's it going?
Woohoo! It's going well. I had a good day.
Yeah, just kind of the first thing I want to touch on, like, when did you kind of know this would be it for you?
Like a year ago, I knew I wanted to reach 50 fights, and I was kind of wondering exactly when I would retire. I didn't really want to go into it. It's been more challenging lately in training, like getting hit in the head hard has been bothering me more. So I've been wearing headgear, and it's really no fun to spar MMA with headgear on because people hold it and pull it and you're like that. So it's just not as fun as it used to be. So I want to do something else.
And you've been in this game for so long. Like, did you ever think you'd get this far, like UFC, this many fights when you first started?
Absolutely not, man. When I first started, when I debuted, people were retiring in their like mid 30s or early 30s, so I figured it would be like that. But yeah, I've lasted a long time, and I'm very proud of myself and what I've done.
And you started like, and there was no talk of even females ever being in the UFC. And like, you've kind of been like, you were one of the original like female fighters. Like, what's that like to kind of look back on?
Yeah, man, now that I have hindsight, it kind of blows my mind. Like there was a generation before me, and I was kind of like the second generation. Not many of us left, but yeah, it's cool to see how far things have come, that I'm actually able to make a living from UFC right now. And it's awesome.
And like you've kind of made it public that this is your last fight. Like, is that something you always wanted to do? Is let like the fans know this was it, or were you kind of contemplating of maybe letting everyone know after the fight that you were done?
I didn't actually want to go into a fight knowing that it was my last one. I kind of loathed the thought of it, but now I have a plan, for after life after fighting, and I'm excited for it. It's positive things, so it's okay. It's I'm happy now that fans who want to see me fight can come to the event. It's going to be in Houston. They're going to be live fans, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, how glad are you with that? Because like we've seen people like Cormier have to retire at the Apex in front of no one. Like at least you get the send off with the fans.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what sucks about people retiring over the past years. They didn't get that proper send off, which at least you will with all the fans.
Yeah, good point.
But part of that future is you got engaged, which obviously congratulations. Like, is that something you had a feeling was coming, or is that a total surprise?
I knew it was coming sometime, but I wasn't sure when it was gonna come. So.
What was that like too? Like right after his fight, like he had it ready and everything.
Well, yeah, it was funny. So he was like, so this is my glasses case. Make sure you keep the cloth in my glasses case when you give me back my glasses. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. He had wrapped the ring in the cloth in his glasses case so that I wouldn't know about it, so I'd unwittingly hand it to him, which is awesome. I was the only corner person, so I was trying to like be a good corner person and make sure the other guys' cornermen weren't going to attack and like make sure everything's fine. And then suddenly I noticed he's down on his knee.
And with now like getting into your fight, like Casey O'Neill, like were you surprised this was the opponent they gave you for your retirement fight?
Not really. I didn't really have any idea who it would be. I would say yes to anybody. That's who I am. So whoever, bring them on. I'm gonna lay it on them.
And I guess you kind of fought everyone, so like it really didn't matter to you, I guess.
There are some people I've never fought, like Alexis Davis has been forever. I kind of figured I would fight her someday. We were both 135, and then I think she dropped down to 125, and then I dropped down to 125. I was like, I'll probably fight her someday. So I watched her fights closely, and then she went back up to 135, and I was like, I guess not. But yeah, I mean, I don't really care who I fight, but yeah, I fought a lot of people and rematched a lot.
And with Casey, like how much do you know about her? Because she has looked pretty impressive so far.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching her fight. Her style kind of reminds me of me. Just go get him, go forward and hit him and take him down. Like, I like that. I fully appreciate that.
How much better do you think you're going to be, or like more dangerous too, that this is your retirement fight? So like you have nothing to lose and like you can do stuff that you wouldn't normally do in a fight.
Exactly. I'm gonna try to have some fun with this,
Is there any moves that like you obviously don't have to say here, but are there moves like you want to do just to say you've done in a fight in this time?
I have 3 super attacks that I'm currently practicing. One is the kibosh. I can't describe it. You'll just have to wonder forever. And then several more that I cannot even name them, but hopefully I shall land them in the fight. I'm very excited to try it. It makes me excited to think about it.
How do you kind of see this fight playing out? Because like you kind of mentioned, like Casey is like you two have very similar styles.
I hope it is a crazy dog fight, and I hope we win fight of the night, and I hope it's glorious battle.
Are you hoping, like you said it there, but like, are you putting any pressure to go out there and like make your last fight a memorable one, or are you just kind of focused on just having fun and like just going out there and doing whatever?
I do want it to be memorable. I do want to do some things, and I do want to make my coaches proud. So there's that, I'm trying not to think about it as my last one. That is some pressure that I've been feeling lately. So we'll see. I'm going to do my best with that mentally.
Are you putting pressure on you then to get the win, or is it more like kind of what you said of just having fun and making a memorable fight regardless?
Oh, I want to win very much.
Yeah.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, because ending on a win is a good way to go out.
Heck yeah.
Oh, with training then, like what has training camp been like, just because it's your last kind of real training camp ever?
Yeah, man, it's been pretty chaotic actually, but I'm in my groove now. I'm pleased with the choices I've made. Um, I'm 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 happy with the choices I've made, and I feel good. Like every day, I feel like improved, and yeah, I'm things are good now. Yeah.
Who are the main people you're working with? Because Syndicate has so many fighters you can train with.
Right now, I'm working a lot with Johnny Parsons.
Yep.
He was on the Contender Series, the Sluggernaut. Um, I'm working a lot with Mike Pyle and a girl, Hana, the Shark. That's her ring name. She's a really good training partner for me. Jordan Levitt, the Monkey King, is also helping me out a lot.
Are you gonna plan to like leave your gloves in the octagon after? Like, because it seems like that's kind of what everyone does.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, especially too, like, what do you think that walkout's gonna be like in front of crowd again? Like that last one, like, and your walkouts in weigh-ins, especially too, you get to do the weigh-ins, the ceremonial weigh-ins in front of crowd. Like, how much does that add to it? Because that's something everyone kind of likes about your fights.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Man, I love my weigh-ins. That's like one of the most fun things about about my matches. I have something cool planned. It makes me so happy when fans cheer for me on the stage. Like I feel like I get louder cheers
Yeah.
than average. And then walking out, it's just so cool to me. Like it's so epic when like I'm walking out and there are people like calling my name, like hanging over the railings. I'm like, wow, like they want to see me. Like this is so cool. Oh my gosh, it's just really exciting.
Oh, what's the walkout gonna be like? Like, do you already have the song picked out and everything?
I do. It's going to be the theme song to My Hero Academia.
Just a few more things. What, like, are you gonna stay in the gym at Syndicate? Like, it seems like you're someone that, like, even if you don't fight, like, it seems like you'll always kind of be in the gym training.
I am going to focus on jujitsu
Yeah.
because
So,
I don't want to get hit in the head anymore. So I shall choke people instead with their clothing.
but grappling matches still you'll do.
Yes.
Oh, that's good then. So you're not like totally leaving like
Yeah.
combat
I'm
sports
going to be
then.
competing in jujitsu, and there seem to be more and more opportunities for grapplers these days. So that's cool.
Yeah, like that Fury had like a really good
Yes. Oh, I
card
want to be on
too.
that
Like
so badly. Yeah.
yeah, like, and there's tons. Like there's so many coming up, and it seems like it's getting more popular too. So you're kind of getting it at the right time.
Man, I want to rematch with Amanda Lowen from Submission Grappling. Submission Underground, excuse me.
Yeah.
I would love that again, that fight again.
Yeah, you've fought like a bunch of the top women grapplers too. Like I was looking before we got on here, like who you've grappled against. It's crazy who you've gone against just in like the past year too.
Yeah, I want a bit more training camps for those people.
Just last thing, like after the fight's over, like it's jujitsu, and then obviously what, just helping your husband and kind of planning out the wedding.
Marriage. Yeah, I'm gonna get a job. I shall
Do
get
you
a
know?
day job. It shall be marvelous, and it is a secret I shall not tell you. Stay tuned. Then
Yeah.
I'm going to get married. It's going to be great. I'm going to see my family. I'm going to take a visit back to see my parents, and it'll be good.
And you don't have to worry about the stress of your weight again or just any of that stuff. It's you can live a good life. You can eat whatever you want. You can do all this stuff.
I can't get too fat though.
Yeah, that's true. After the wedding. But Roxanne, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Yeah. All right, we're joined by UFC bantamweight Kyler Phillips is back in action. Kyler, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm prepared to go to battle next week.
Yeah, I quickly want to touch on your last fight. What do you take away from that one? Because it was a super close fight, and I think a lot of people thought you won that.
Oh, I just used it to make myself a different breed, and I'm super focused now, and I'm super on a completely different level. I'm really grateful for the whole experience and the controversial decision loss because I'm just on a pathway to getting back to gold.
And with Marcelo Rojo, like, how much do you know about your opponent?
He's gonna come swing hard, fast. The guy's a game opponent. Anybody in the UFC's game, so we're ready for the best version of him. But we're gonna see next weekend a lot of his flaws and his weaknesses are gonna be exposed, and his strengths are not gonna be able to match what I have in store for him.
Fighting back in front of fans, what's that like for you?
Man, I'm stoked for it, especially a pay-per-view crowd. Adesanya, Whittaker, and then Jared Vanderaa, my teammates fighting, and then the Black Beast as well. That's going to be a dope card. I think it's sold out. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, it's going to be sick with the crowd.
Like, who have the main guys you're working with? Is it the usual, like working with O'Malley, Casey Kenny, and Mario? Because obviously Mario has a fighter. Those kind of the main guys you're working with.
Yeah, but there's so many dudes at the lab. There's like a lot of dudes, and then with my coaches as well, doing my jiu-jitsu with Tank and those guys, and then with Hanchi Nico and Crouch, there's so much stuff that we have and a lot of things we can utilize. So yeah, it's been just getting better every single day.
One of your teammates, Benton Henderson, picked up a big win. What was that like, seeing him get the big win in Bellator?
Yeah, I was there. It was just so happened my brothers came out this weekend, so I got to spar on Saturday, and then they came through, and Ben was there that morning, just to feel that energy. You can feel it in the air too. That he was, he just had that like light spirit. I don't know, it just felt good, man. And like I saw him, and he was super active and motivated. And when he fought, it was cool to see all the Arizonans win 3 in a row, and then. So yeah, that was Ben, that was Henry Corrales one, and then Brian Bader.
Back to your fight, like, how do you think you match up against Marcelo?
I think I match up against anybody bad, and it just depends on which guy I decide to bring out. And again, it's a fight at the end of the day, but it's a lot I bring to the table as far as grit, skill, patience, explosiveness, speed, and deception as well. So I just can't wait, man.
How do you kind of see this fight playing out? Just because you're a guy that when you win, you do have that knockout power at 35.
What happens? Well, I'm gonna start selling him some things, and whatever he buys, whatever he gives to me, I'm gonna take. And if I decide to play with him a little bit, or if I decide to just go for the kill, it just depends on which Marcelo Rojo comes out, and I feel like he's just going to fight the same. And if he does try to mix it up or something, I'm prepared for it. So it's got to be fun, man.
Being on the actual pay-per-view card, like you're on the main card, what's that like for you? Because you're actually going to be on pay-per-view.
Oh, it's going to be the same exact thing, the crowd. But yeah, I'm stoked for it. But I think it's the same thing as fighting.
What do you think a win over Marcelo does for you? Because he does have a bit of hype, being like Moreno is the kind of main guy.
I'm not extremely concerned about that, but like I think it's gonna put me back in the way to the top, and it's just gonna be good for me trying to become the best that I can be. So yeah, pretty much I don't really know what to say about that. Just gonna get the win.
Is there any pressure on you to get the finish after kind of that controversial decision that you don't want to go to the judges again?
No, not at all. It's just like right now what I do in training, it's nothing new. It's the same exact thing. And whatever I decide to take and whatever he decides to give, that's going to be my opening, and I'm going to take it. And whether it's 5 minutes in or 10 minutes in or whatever it is, I'm going to perform and shine on that day.
Is that Paiva fight one you'd like back then?
I mean, I'll kick that dude's ass, dude, again if I want to. So, but he's not really my concern right now.
What is kind of your goal for this year? Because you were a guy that was knocking on the top 15. Like, I wouldn't be surprised you string together 2-3 wins and you're right there again.
It's just about me being in the moment. Like, I can map these things out of what I want. I know what I want. I want is to be the champion. I want to be the best. I want to be the best version of myself and keep getting better every single day. I want to wake up and just be alive and just to be Matrix, be completely myself, not to try to be like anybody else. I'm not comparing my path with anybody else. I'm just walking forward. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm going to just continue to get better every day, and everybody will see that for sure.
What do you think that walkout's going to be like back in front of the fans? Like, other than your debut, you've been in front of no one.
Well, you know, it's like go out there and you feel it. And it's like, oh, yeah. And then you see your coaches, and then you go fight and you go beat somebody up and you get paid. It's a good feeling, you know. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I do this every day. And, like, going out there, me just moving and being alive and being able to do this is, like, an honor. And I just really can't wait to just do that and then to continue to keep doing it. Just continue. And whatever happens, every fight with everybody or anything, you always just keep moving forward. Always just keep staying motivated and just keep moving. That's all. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to just keep growing. That's about it.
How much of a benefit is it that Mario's fighting like 2 weeks after you? So you guys are kind of peaking for around that same date.
Yeah, I think he's the week after.
Yeah, he might be a week. He's a week or two after you. Like,
yeah,
he's right
he's
around
the week after, and then what's it called? This guy Mark at our gym, he's fighting, I think, on that card or maybe before. Yeah, I think after. And then Jared Vanderaa, my teammate, he's fighting right after me on the pay-per-view. So we're gonna have our whole team out there in H-Town, baby, Houston. It's gonna be fun.
So you got to start the night off right and give the team a big win for Cannonier.
Oh yeah.
With O'Malley too, like I know you work with him a lot. Like, did you? How much did you help him in his last fight? Just because you were coming off that fight with Paiva.
I grappled with him a little bit. We have like there's so many dudes that we just have each other and like whatever bodies we try to use and the minds we put together, it's just a win-win situation for any of us. So yeah, it's really cool to have dudes and doing the same exact thing as me and like succeeding and being around that, you know, what you surround yourself with is what you become. So it's cool to have guys like that.
Do you think your ground game is underrated just because of how well you are on your feet?
And again, it just depends on like who I'm talking about. Like, am I looking at the eyes of some fan? I don't really give a shit. It's just me and myself, and I know my ground's pretty badass, and I know how to mix it up pretty well as far as my transitions with wrestling, jiu-jitsu, ground and pound with some of my other styles that nobody really knows about. But it's just going to continue to be revealed more. There's a lot of things I've been working on for years and my whole life that in 15 minutes you don't really see, even a couple fights. It just depends on what positions you get put in and what openings there are. You don't really force things. I force them to give me things, but setting the tempo and like, yeah, I don't know. I just think that I'm not going to say I was like something special or whatever, but yeah, this is me. Nobody does it like me. The only person that does it like myself.
You get your hand raised here. Like, do you really care who's next, or are you just trying to fight whoever until you get that number beside your name?
Again, like I focus on one thing at a time, but it just depends, man. If I want to call somebody out, I will. Depends on how I feel in that moment, you know. If I feel like calling somebody out, I will. If I feel like just seeing whoever wants to match me up, then I'll do that. Because you try to plan things like way ahead and stuff, and they always don't work out the way you want it to. So, yeah, that's kind of how that goes.
Just last question. Like, are you hoping to get, like, what is kind of the goal for you this year? Is it like 3 fights, or you like the 2 fights that you have had the past 2 years?
I like to stay active, and that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to stay active, and I'm going to stay ready. So whether that's 2, 3, 4 fights, I'm going to stay active, and I'm going to stay ready.
Well, Kyler, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you too, bro. Have a good one.
About that.
All right, we're joined by UFC heavyweight Jared Vanderaa, who's got a big fight against Andrei Arlovsky. Jared, how's it going, man?
It's going. I'm tired.
Yeah, when you
maybe an hour ago.
When you found out you were getting this fight against Arlovsky, like what kind of goes through your head? Because this is obviously a legend and a former champion.
I threw my phone down in excitement and jumped in the air. I fangirled pretty hard, knowing that I was going to fight him. Originally, so I was actually supposed to fight on this last card, but people pulled out and stuff like that, and they asked, like, hey, do you want to fight Orlowski Saturday? I was like, yes. I had a moment, and then my manager came up and was like, hey, would you rather fight him in Houston? I'm like, I genuinely don't care. It's like, you do what you think is best, and I'll punch him Saturday or in Houston. It's like, and sure enough, we're punching each other in Houston.
Are you a bit happier though it is in Houston just because it is in front of fans?
I'm kind of indifferent on the location. The plus thing about Houston is Texas barbecue, so I'm looking forward to that after the fight. But to be honest with you, I was like, I could care less where. I mean, if it was here in Anaheim this weekend, I would have been down with that. If it was in Columbus, Ohio, and sometime in March, I believe, I've been down for that too. So it's nice to have a little bit more breathing room than the Apex.
How quickly did this fight come together? Because just a few days before you got the Arlovsky fight, like you were called out Tanner Bozer on social media.
Yeah, so like he's called me out, I called him out, and I just figured, I didn't see that his name on any upcoming cards. I'm just like, you know what? I'm looking for a fight. He's called me out before, but I have no ill will with him. So I was just poking the bear a little bit by making fun of his beard. When I had one. So I just felt like, it would have been a fun fight, something for the fans, but I got Orlowski. After this fight, we could, come back to the table for that fight again. So I'm open to it.
What have you made of Arlovsky's run? Just because he has looked very good of late, like 4-1 in his last 5, it kind of has like a career turnaround.
I mean, this is Orlowski. I mean, he's been doing it for a while. I mean, like, yeah, he's 4-1 in his last 5 fights, but I mean, previously to that, like 4-1, I think he fought Rosenstruck, then previous was like Overeem, and then what was it called? Nagano. I mean, Orlowski was given some monsters after monsters, and not saying that his 4-1 recently, like he fought Tom Aspinall, and I think a lot of people underestimate Tom Aspinall and that guy is. But I mean, he had good victories over Chase and Carlos Felipe, but I mean, these aren't these world beaters that Rosenstruck came to be, or Francis and stuff like that. And honestly, let's be real, Tom Aspinall, he's moving up the ranks at a steady but good progression. So he'll be in the top 10 for a long, long time, I think. So
With fighting Arlovsky, like it's a lot of people after the fight say they kind of get starstruck in that first round, just tough because they're like, have you kind of tried to not like, how do you kind of deal with that? Just because that is a guy that I'm sure you grew up watching that you're going to be standing across the octagon from.
Yeah, definitely. I like starstruck. I think it won't be as bad because I think last year around February is when I actually saw Orlowski, and I had my starstruck moment there. I was like, oh my god, it's Orlowski. But now I don't think it's as much there. Plus, I have a lot of coaches that I have a lot of old timer coaches, as I like to call them, Dan Henderson, Joe Stevenson. I mean, they have all been in the game. They all, know of Orlowski, and they're like, Jared, you don't have a fucking option. You're going to beat him. I was like, and I think them helping me, like Joe's being like, I trained with him. You could beat him. As like you could do. I was like, your ground is better than his. You need to understand that you could beat him. As I don't worry about him being Orlowski, he needs to worry about you being you. And I'm like, all right, like having all these guys that know of him for a while kind of help also.
Stylistically, like, how do you think you match up against Andre?
Honestly, I think stylistically it's a better fight for me. Striker versus striker. Yeah, he has definitely a ground base, I think, in Sambo. But, he's definitely been favoring his striking, especially in his later years. So I definitely think that it's something that me and him are going to have a good stand-up battle back and forth. I think I have more skills to utilize in the striking department where he's, definitely, has his style. And I don't think he's going to bring so much new to the table, whereas I still have a lot more that I have not shown stand-up wise, because obviously, like, 2 of my 3 fights have been predominantly ground matches. So I have definitely a lot more to show in the stand-up department in the UFC that, a lot of people don't know. So hopefully I could shock them with that.
How do you see this fight playing out? Just because Andre is a guy that has been finished in the past, and like UFC have a lot of knockout power.
Honestly, I could see this fight going a few different directions. I like Orlowski, how he fights. He's been definitely more on like getting into these mad balls where he could get finished or potentially finish his opponent. I believe the last time he's finished someone was the Travis Brown fight, and that was like what 6+ years ago.
2015.
Yeah, so it's been a minute since he's finished anybody, but he's definitely been outpacing people, and winning the judge's decision. So I definitely, with seeing how he's been doing lately and how he's winning, mentally I'm like prepared to go all through rounds with this guy because that's how he's been playing the game lately. But I could also see, if I could get my hands on him and cut him off from moving, I might be able to knock him out, or at least wobble him, get him to the ground, and get a TKO out of this.
I know most.
That's, I think, realistically what would happen. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. I know most UFC contracts run 4 fights. So, like, is this the last fight of your deal, or have you already re-signed?
I have already signed because I took the Asmat fight on a week notice. They were like, hey, you are willing to take a fight on a week notice against a high level prospect. Boom. Then some medical stuff came up that got resolved, and then I actually took another fight 2 days before Christmas against Chris Barnett for January 15th card. But then the day I get all my medicals done, I get cleared to fight back in the UFC. That day, I call my manager. Hey, Jason, I'm good to go, because I yell, I heard your opponent got hurt. Just like, what the fuck? And then they turn around, they're like, hey, you want to fight Orlowski? I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, we're going to move it to Texas. So I got a few more fights left in me with my contract. But instead of worrying about what's happening, I'm just going to focus on beating Orlowski, so I don't have to worry about, instead of putting myself in jeopardy of just getting cut from the UFC, How about I just beat Orlowski and then we'll just worry about the next issue? That's kind of my mindset right now on that.
What do you think a win over Arlovsky does for you? Like, you've kind of looked at him, the last couple guys to beat him are all these top ranked guys.
I don't know. Because yeah, you get like I feel like he's definitely a gatekeeper to the top 15, but to be honest, I don't care. I respect his skill, but there's plenty of other heavyweights out there that I would like to fight. Like I said, I'm not rushing to the gold. I want to fight everybody. I like fighting, so I have all the options. After I beat Orlowski, like I said, me and Bosner have been, bantering at each other back and forth. Maybe I'll go with that one if it comes up. I mean, it's just I don't care too much about the rankings. I just want to fight and have fun doing it.
Just last thing for you, like, what is kind of your goal for this year? Because if you beat Arlovsky, like, it's probably going to be big names and like big fights for the rest of the year.
Then so be it. Like, I mean, I beat Orlowski, but who knows? I could beat Orlowski, and then next week they call me to fight, Latifi or Alexander Romanov because one of them pulled out. I'm that person. Like, they know that I'm a fighter more than I'm worried about the everything else. So I mean, if I fight Orlowski and opens up other doors to bigger names, cool. But like I said, I'm not really rushing to the top. I want to take my time, punching people, taking the long road there, because I think I want to build more of a foundation on myself and build a foundation in the UFC before I rush to the top, because I kind of don't want to be like a Chris Darkus. Not to say that, like, he's had 3 or 4 fights in the UFC and he shot all the way up to fighting Derek Lewis, and we saw what happened to him. And I just don't want to rush to that immediate fame and then go, oh, the stars and lights, and crumble, to like a 5-round fight. I've had a few 5-round fights, but not at this level. And I just want to build that base to the UFC. Once I get to that 5-round main event picture, then, I'm just taking my time getting there. And Orlowski's just, step 1 of this year, So, regardless of who he brings, what may come afterwards, I know, like, I'm just taking my time getting to the top, establishing myself here, trying to make a base where I could prolong my UFC career instead of trying to make a quick shot to the top and then just crumble under pressure. I don't want that in my life. I just want to be bam, get there, and it's like, all right, this motherfucker's scary. He brings a lot to the table. Now let's have this extra pressure that he's been preparing for, and then maybe then I can even shine more so than I've already have.
Well, Jared, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, have a good one.